Okay, so last time I told you about how my feelings are changing a bit with respect to photography and that thing we call an image, like this one. I talked about how I've been so focused on the process itself, which relaxes me tremendously, that I maybe neglected the image itself. After all, there's usually film or a memory card in a camera, so there really might be a goal to all that shooting you've been doing. The last time I felt philosophical like this was when I became SnapChick by starting my website, Facebook page, and other cool things online. SnapChick is here to stay, and you can expect to see more of what you're already watching and liking. So, the first thing that I did when I started writing down my thoughts and new philosophy is that I procrastinated. It's easy to feel that change is coming. It's another thing entirely to put words around it. Words that make sense and form complete sentences. So, I finished working on my bathroom renovation, went to IKEA to buy a couple of these tables, and I spent some time with the cats. I took some pictures around the yard, and I made plenty of time for Facebook questions and answers, and mostly got caught up on email. You know what? I even took a few naps. You can only hide from yourself for so long, though. So here I am today, talking again. Putting the process aside and thinking about the image itself led me to some of these old archive boxes that I have. These are filled with prints, slides, and negatives. There are amazing trips captured in these boxes through national parks, beautiful beaches, and mountains that I haven't seen in years. When you open a box like this, you can't close it again. The voices are too real. I mean, you hear them, right? Right? Don't you? Don't you? I've been telling myself for years that I'm going to scan these negatives and slides so that they're with me on the go and backed up in an entirely different format. It's time for me to do that. There's different ways to scan these. In fact, there are plenty of services that'll do it for you. There's expensive equipment that you can get to do it yourself. I wanted a good compromise of low work and low cost. So I picked up this CanoScan 9000F Mark II scanner, which will scan large prints and documents, but also slides and negatives in 35mm and 120 format. If I were just catching up on old stuff, frankly, I would have sent all these out for scanning. But if you're watching me recently, you know that the film bug is still here with me. I keep trying to kill it, but it keeps coming back. I've actually gotten some Tri-X to shoot here, and also we're going to develop it together. I read and watch what other online photography personalities are doing, and I'm seeing more and more people talking about film in much the same way that I hear more and more people talking about going back to these for their music. What's not to love about these old album covers, by the way? Seriously, they're awesome. I think that film is much the same way for a lot of people. Maybe it's not as easy, maybe it's even more work. Maybe we spend so much time on and around computers that we're looking for things that we can hold on to and touch. Or maybe we just like the smell. Anyway, what I was trying to say was that I was watching another blogger, whom I respect, talk about a certain film camera that they had purchased for a low price, which was great. During the review, the person said something that got to me though. They said that they were a new owner of this used film camera, but that they might never run a roll of film through it. Hey, I'm not the photography thought police, but it did strike a chord with me. If I'm finally getting my hands on that film camera that I've always thought about, but, finally picked up, I'm sure as hell gonna shoot with it. Yeah, rolls of film flying around everywhere. People screaming at me to put the film away. Corsets getting torn off. You know the drill. Here's my first assignment, and you might decide to join me in this. I've pulled out the old stuff. I've got slides, negatives, and some orphan prints in here. I'm bringing it forward into the digital age. I know a lot of you have been meaning to do the same thing for a long time, so let's do it. Let's stop talking about someday and make it today. If you do scanning like I am, it's not just today. It's tomorrow, and the next day, and probably a few days after that. Do I recommend this scanner? So far, so good, and I'll be posting a full review.